Good day, students. How are you? I hope you are doing great. How is your family? This is Mrs. Bolaji. In our last class, we revised our previous topics. That is what you did in second term. So, and you told me different topics, and we talk about them. Then, we also talk about the first topic you're supposed to have is decision, resources and decision making, which I believe you have done in GSS 1. So now it's just going to be like a revision before we go to food nutrients, which is the next topic. So looking at resources, I believe Mr. Ajiferike taught you. Resources has to do with those things that we use to meet, those things that the families use to meet their needs in order to achieve their goals. For example, the family, our needs are very, very essential. Needs like food, examples of needs are food, clothing, shelter, healthcare. So looking at those four items that I mentioned now, you see that they are very, very essential. They're very, very important. We cannot do without them, without having them. Now, looking at this now, the family needs something. The family needs something to meet these needs. And that thing is resource, or those things are resources. Now, looking at when we talk about resources, there are in home economics there are two types of resources. The first one is human resources, and the second one is non-human resources. Human resources has to do with those things that exist with those resources that exist within us. For example, skills, energy, knowledge, imagination, and so on, ability, and so on. They are human resources. I can't see those things in you. But when I see you applying those things, doing this, applying it, then I know, so you have this thing within you, have these resources. Wow, that's very great. That is that. Then we also talk about the second one, which is the non-human. It exists outside human. For example, money, possession. If you want to buy food stuff, you need money to do that. That is that. Now, looking at these things that we talk about resources, and we also talk about this decision making. I'm revising this so that you remember those things that you did. I remember I saw it in your GSS 1, but I taught GSS 1, so I now remember that you were taught in GSS 1. Now, looking at the decision making. Decision making has to do with choosing an option from alternatives. That is, you have if you don't have alternatives, if you don't have alternatives, like you have different options to choose from, you can't make decision. It means that you don't have a choice. You have to choose the one you have. But if you have alternatives, that is when you make decision. So it has to do with choosing from alternatives. Now, that is that. I will talk about the steps in decision making. You know that you have to identify the decision you want to make, choose from alternative, and so on. Yes, I'm just revising that with you. Now we want to look at today's topic, which is food nutrient. When you say food nutrient, now we take them one after the other. The first one we look at is food. We might not finish this topic today. I continue from there in our next class because it's a 2 weeks topic. Now, food is any liquid or solid substance which, when eaten, absorbed and digested, nourishes the body. If you look at food now, you see that it is not just what is it called? You don't just put whatever you eat. It could be solid, it could be liquid. Water is food, eba is food, and whatever, and so on. Anything that you can put in your mouth that is consumable is food, and after consuming it, digest and nourishes your body is food. That is that. Now we want to look at nutrition. Nutrition is the way the body uses the food we eat, and that is why we refer to nutrition as the study of food nutrients. the study of food nutrient. That is, you want to know how that food, the food you are eating, you want to know how it works in your body. Are you with me now? Okay, that is that. Then it also deals with the food we eat and how it nourishes our body, like I've said. Now, let's look at nutrients. Nutrients are nutrients are the chemical substances in the food we eat. That is, the chemical those chemical substances that are present in the food we eat. We cannot see them with our naked eyes, but we can see them through the functions they perform in our body. For example now, if you have been eating well, I will say, oh wow, that's good. You have been eating well, I'm telling you. But if you are lacking a nutrient, if you are lacking some nutrient or a nutrient or whatever, people will see it in that. For example, a child that is having a kwashiorkor, you will know that that child is lacking protein. Kwashiorkor, as you see the child, the symptoms of, you see the child having big head, big tummy, thin leg, thin hands. That is kwashiorkor. It means that that child have not been taking enough protein, and so on. So that is that. That is nutrient. That is what is it called? Nutrient. That's the definition of nutrient. So now we now say food nutrients are the chemical substances present in our food, or the chemical substances in the food we eat. That is that. Now let's look at these food nutrients one after the other. I told you we might not finish this topic today, and we can as well finish it. Well, let's look at it. Food nutrients, functions, sources, deficiency, symptoms. The first one is carbohydrates. What's the function of carbohydrate? It provides the body with heat and energy for work. It provides the body with heat and energy for work. Carbohydrate gives the body heat, and it also supplies energy for work, for you to carry out your daily activities. And we have the sources, that is, where can we get carbohydrate food from? We can get carbohydrate food from yam, cassava, maize, rice, bread, sugar, because they contain starch and sugar. Then potatoes and so on, from your cereals. Yes, from your cereals, and then your cereals and grains. Yes, they are carbohydrate foods. Tubers, they are carbohydrate food. Now, if one is not taking carbohydrates, like we have in that RDA, recommended dietary allowance, they recommend the amount of nutrients you are supposed to consume per day. Now, it means that if you are not taking the right quantity of carbohydrates, it means that one will be tired and one will be lacking energy. That's the deficiency. Deficiency means when you lack something, what happens to it? What happens to the person? It means that tiredness occurs and lack of energy. Number two, fat and oil. Number two, fat and oil. Fat and oil, what's the functions of fat and oil? Fat and oil has the same what is almost the same function with carbohydrate. They also supply the body with heat and energy. Examples are margarine, butter, palm oil, groundnut oil, fish, oily meat. Yes, some food contain more than one. If you look at that, is fish not protein? Yes, fish is protein, but there are some oily fish. Some food contain more than one nutrient, like I used to tell my students. Now, if one is not taking this, what happens? The skin may become rough. That is, if skin will become rough, the skin will not be smooth. The person might have a wrinkled skin. That is the deficiency symptom of fat and oil. The next one we'll look at is protein. Protein. What are the functions of protein? In protein, I used to tell my students that there is no amount of protein that I eat that will make me grow taller, but you are still growing. So protein will help you in growth. It will help you to have rapid growth. So I used to look at some of you that you don't like eating beans. Beans is very, very good, though it's a plant protein. But if you eat beans, you can't, you eat plant protein, you eat animal protein. Animal protein example is fish, meat and so on. So you combine all. When you combine all, it will help you to grow well. So e.g. in children, adolescent and babies. Yes. And for building new tissues. For example, in adults, even in you children and adolescent, for building new tissues, and for repair of worn out or damaged tissues. Yes, for repair of worn out or damaged tissues. Now let's look at the sources of proteins. The sources of proteins are meat, fish, eggs, milk, soya beans, peas, beans and so on. Means that we have other ones that we cannot mention now. So these are the sources of proteins. So make sure you eat good enough protein food. Eat protein, eat beans, eat meat, eat egg, eat all these things. Don't eat any food. Please don't eat any protein helps you to grow well. Now if one is not eating, that is the deficiency symptom. If you are not eating protein, what happens? Poor growth and development, as the person will have retarded growth and development, and general weakness of the body, and kwashiorkor. I've given you examples of kwashiorkor that you see. The symptoms of kwashiorkor that the child will have is usually occur it usually occurs in what is it called, children. Yeah, you see the child will have big head, big tummy, thin leg and thin hand. So that is that. So please make sure you eat well. Now we want to look at the next one. We're almost done with the topic. So it means that we can even finish it in this class and we'll move to another topic in our next class. So we want to look at the next one, which is vitamins. Vitamins, the functions of vitamins. It protects the body from diseases. Vitamins protect the body from disease, that is, it doesn't allow germ to penetrate into your body, and it prevents you from having sickness. Then it also helps the body use foods for energy growth and repair. Can you see now? Because when the body functions well, the food you eat will digest well and also perform its functions in your body. What are the sources of these vitamins? We have fruits, vegetables, egg yolk, milk, meat, butter, cod liver oil and so on. And we look at it that the body will be easily affected by diseases if one has the deficiency symptoms, if one is not taking it, and weakness and loss of appetite. Now we want to look at the last one, which is water. Because some of you is water is very very good. I used to tell my students to take water the first thing in the morning when you wake up, before you brush your teeth. Take water, a cup or a glass cup, a cup of water. It helps you to flush your system. It helps to flush your body system. So water aids digestion of food. Yes, it helps to digest the food you eat. It is important for body tissues and fluids such as saliva, blood, urine, sweat and so on. You see that if you take enough water, you go to the restroom, you urinate frequently, and by urinating you are flushing out the what is it called, whatever infection and rubbish in the body, whatever your body, the waste product in your body. So the sources of this food are fruits, water, vegetables, beverages. And what happen if we are not taking enough water? Normal digestion and other body functions will be affected, and then one will feel thirsty. So that is that on food nutrients. I want you to look at this, make sure you go through it. The reason why you're having this pre-recorded class is because you can go, if you don't understand, you can still play it over and over. So that is that. Make sure you do that and you do your assignment. I want to give you classwork. The classwork is you list the 6 classes of food nutrients. List the 6 classes of food nutrients. Okay, let me give you this way. You define food nutrients. Define food nutrients. Number two, you list the six classes of food nutrients. So here we call it a day. Thank you. God bless you. All right, regards to your